It's about 8:30. So I want to welcome whoever is out there. I'm really excited, and I wanted to welcome you to the first inaugural Internet Yakut talk show, Get Ignited. And tonight we're going to be talking about social media in a very specific way that I hope will be helpful to a lot of people. And I have a wonderful, wonderful guest. So my name is Dr. Christine Ranck, and I am a trauma therapist in New York City and also an author. And I have a wonderful friend who is involved with Yakut, and it is a great privilege to me to be able to take advantage of this fantastic technology. It's unbelievable that three people can be anywhere in the world and see one another and talk to one another and like have a conversation like this. It's so amazing. So just bear with me that first of all, I'm a bit of a technical dinosaur, and so I'm just learning my way. So if you will just have patience with me while I learn how to move quickly from box to box and so on, you can't imagine what things are like for me on this side. But it's really easy that I'm a dinosaur. So just have patience and we'll move forward. And I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you to my incredible guest, Ilana Eberson. And so now I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and I'm going to read her bio, which is fantastic. She's a friend and a colleague of mine, and Ilana is president of the New York City Business Networking Group, NYCBNG, one of the premier business groups in NYC, with over 9,000 members. In 2011, Ilana was the winner of the Top 100 Small Business Influencers Award, woohoo, in the leadership category. The award acknowledges the business networking opportunities provided for members with a focus on long-term relationships and the business profits generated through monthly events, expos, and seminars. Ilana has hosted over 200 business events in the last 4 years, and she's a recognized business networking expert and speaker, which was why I thought it would be a good idea to have her on the show. She speaks on topics such as networking best practices and relationship marketing. She is your personal wing woman at business networking events, and she coaches and advises small businesses and entrepreneurs on social media strategy for marketing and business development. She has a huge, very large network online with 10,000 LinkedIn connections and over 5,000 Twitter followers. She's appeared in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Fox Business News, Inc. Magazine, New York Post, New York Daily News, Time Out New York, AM New York, Metro New York, and Star Ledger. So it is my great privilege and thrill to have her on the show and for us to talk about social networking in whatever way we feel like talking about it. And from my perspective, social media is a very confusing and overwhelming thing. And so I'm hoping that we can help me and therefore help you to make some sense. So anyway, please welcome Ilana Eberson. Hi, Ilana.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me on. It's very exciting to be on this fantastic technology. I have to say, other than a few little glitches, it's an amazing technology, and I'm very excited to be your first guest.
Thank you. Yes, it's great to, and I just want to tell you. To back up. It was a little hard to understand you once again. So, but we're working on the technical aspects of that. So anyway, you go and try, don't worry about it. We'll get it right at some point. And in the meantime, just say whatever you'd like to say.
No problem. Well, first of all, I'd like to actually know a little bit about what you do so that I can possibly give you some examples of how to market your brand through social media, and at least it will give us some live examples that we can use while we're talking about this subject.
Okay, well, I'm not too sure exactly what you would like to know that would be helpful, but I have a book that I wrote a couple of years ago, and you know, every author feels like their book is great, and mine, I love my book, and I think it's something that can be really helpful to people, and it's been very challenging when you're an author. For a first-time author, what you often discover, and I bet that for authors out there that know about this, that you find out that you end up being responsible for networking and publicizing your own book, that the publishing industry has changed very much, and even though in the movies it looks like when an author has a book, they go on a book tour, and they have talks and things all arranged for them, for the most part that is no longer true. And you're responsible for your own publishing success. And so, of course, with social media, that's a fantastic thing now that is available to all of us to make use of. But it's very overwhelming, and in my case, the question is always, I can't do everything because I work full-time as a therapist also. So I have to pick and choose the things that I do. And so one of the things that I would love to know is how to decide which things to do and which things work, and how to know about that.
Generally, who would you say is your target audience, or other than authors, obviously, but what other industries could use the material from your book and your CD? Just so it gives me an idea of the kind of market you're interested, and I can also help you try and find a market and give you some ideas if you haven't thought of them.
Okay, well, let's see. My book is based on, I'm a trauma therapist, so in the process of doing a lot of therapy with trauma survivors and doing a particular kind of therapy, which happens to two different kinds of therapy, which happen to be called EMDR and brain spotting, I discovered that in that process that the people who were recovering from their trauma symptoms after having had any number of different things, almost all of us, every single human alive has had trauma, so it's a human experience. But what I found was that in the process of recovering from their trauma, they were becoming more and more creative and transforming their lives in ways that I never could have imagined or dreamed of. And so I wanted to find a way to put that into that experience, kind of capture that experience in a book without people having to go to therapy. And I didn't want it to be a self-help book where there are lots of exercises and stuff, because in my case, when I read a self-help book and there are exercises, I always read through the exercises and get to the end of the chapter, and then I go, oh, I'll come back to it, and then I never come back to it. So I thought, okay, how can we get people to have an experience and really, have the experience without it being a big deal? And so my book incorporates a lot of things, and it's really more of an experiential book. It's not a book per se, it's more of an experience, and it incorporates a soundtrack that's designed to enhance creativity and open things up and give you self-discoveries. And it's also full of pictures, because pictures paint 1,000 words. So when you see an evocative picture, you don't have to think about it. You can just have an experience with it without thinking or reading and so on. So it's a very different kind of book, but it's one that's very expansive. So it's good for anybody who wants to discover new things about themselves. It's also great for corporate, like for enhancing creativity, and it's a great book in terms of almost anybody who wants to be more creative or change their life in any way.
Wonderful. I just wanted to write a few of those things down. So I think probably the best way to get started is just to sort of give a brief overview of branding and a little bit about marketing, so at least we've established what those are right up front for some of the people who don't have an exact understanding. So your brand is actually the personality of your product, your company, or your service. And it's defined by the perception your customers and prospects have about you. The best brands have a distinct message which comes from their unique value proposition. Now, if you can't say succinctly in under 60 seconds who you are and what you do, you don't really know what your value proposition is, and you don't know what your business offers. So, because I've run so many networking events, I hear people blather on and they don't know exactly how to explain their business. So your brand encompasses all of that, and it's not just your company name or your logo or the slogan or colour, even though those are important. It's more about the mindset of your company's image. What is it that your company stands for? What's the secret sauce that you provide that nobody else does? What is your unique offering to people? And the way you position your brand and marketing message dictates how others are going to judge who you are, judge what your business does, and judge if your business will be useful for them. So everything that you or your company says or does should be in the voice of your brand. So it should be in a very uniformed manner. Your logo should be a particular colour. Use that same colour scheme. Use images. You want to link to things in your branding which relate to thoughts and feelings, perceptions, images, attitudes, beliefs, and then those things become linked to the personality of your brand. So say, for example, Nike's swoosh. Everybody in the world knows Nike's swoosh. It's just world known. It isn't just a visible representation of their brand. That symbol has become infused with the idea of athletic grandeur, achieving your best, and winning. Those are the things that sort of naturally come to mind when you think of Nike's swoosh. You don't even have to think about it. It's an automatic response. Same with other brands like Coca-Cola. Their brand message is so embedded. We see the logo, we know exactly what it is. So that's basically the brand. Just a quick overview of what your brand is, and to help you describe your brand, you should be using really descriptive keywords, especially actually in your case, Christine, because you use a lot of imagery. That's something you should definitely use to promote, because your book is visual and CD is audio, and your book is reading, so you're covering all of the senses. So your brand should encompass that. And to help you find descriptive keywords, you want to go to Google Keywords and do some research, brainstorm 50 words, 25 to 50 words that you could relate to your business. Not boring words, emotional words, words that will invoke pictures and images for the people and passion to people. And then once you've picked out those keywords, we'll talk a little bit more about what those can do. And then just to cover a little bit about marketing before we start, marketing is the activity and process for creating, communicating, and delivering something valuable to your clients, customers, or partners. Marketing is what generates the strategy which underlines your company's sales. So your salespeople go out and do their sales, but marketing is what generates leads for the salesman to go out and make the sale. So essentially what you're marketing is your brand and you. In a nutshell, you and your brand have to be synonymous. You have to behave in a certain way, think in a certain way. My brand colours are green. I have a particular look when I'm running my events. My logo is very descriptive. It's a very bold logo. All of those things add up to how my brand is perceived in the public. So that covers a little bit on branding and marketing, and if you have questions, I'm happy to answer those. Or
hi, good. Ilana, I had a customer this week. I'm a web designer, among other things. One of my website customers, for whom I do a great deal of other kinds of marketing and branding work, decided this week that she didn't need any more of that branding stuff done for her, as though it was a completed task. We've put together a website, her business cards, her stationery, and those things that are all unified in their look, in their colors, in the language that we use, in the graphics that I've chosen. But we still have a long way to go. She puts on workshops, and none of her workshop material has been included in this yet. That sort of thing. I mean, there's a big chunk still missing from her branding. And how would you answer something like that? I don't need any more of that branding stuff anymore. It was an issue of, payment for services is what it came down to. But how would you answer that? To put value to it.
First of all, I don't know the exact circumstances of her business. So, for example, maybe, I don't know how evolved her business is. If she's just working on logo and branding now, she may not have come to the realization that she might have to do some of her own marketing. She maybe has a budget to be able to give the marketing aspect, search engine optimization, search engine marketing. She may be looking at that as a separate entity to web design and web development and logo creation that you've given her. So unless you provide her with the value add of why she should extend those services with you, she might not even understand that you can provide those services. So she might be looking at, first of all, she might not even know that she has to market. If she doesn't know that she has to market, I know that sounds ridiculous, but a lot of people think business is just going to walk in the door. And so my suggestion would be to have a chat with her. Maybe if money is the issue, if she's bootstrapped, maybe you can defer payment. Maybe you can do payment over several months and charge a smaller amount over a longer period of time. But I would incorporate a value add and let her know that you do provide those services and that those services are necessary if she wants to market her company. The branding never stops. It's constantly evolving.
I completely agree. And I think it really comes down to a matter of philosophy. In looking at some of the materials that she considers to be fine, they're not well composed. They need just structure and things like that to make them better, as well as branding, and she doesn't see those things. She invented them herself, and therefore they're fine. So I think I think there are a number of things wrapped up in it, but you're absolutely right. I have to make her see the value of it, or it won't happen. You're absolutely right about that.
You also should let her know that you know, besides her, you're the one that understands her brand better than anybody because you've created that brand with her. She's now going to have to do that learning curve with someone else to catch them up with who she is, what she represents. You already have that built-in knowledge. Essentially, it would cost her a lot of money to have to reinvent the wheel rather than go along with the investment you have both already made to get her this far.
It took me a while to figure out my own brand. The name of my book is Ignite the Genius Within, and over time, I experimented with a few different things, but Get Ignited, which happens to be also the name of this talk show, which is hopefully going to happen weekly. I feel like it's a great brand that works for me, and it just kind of encompasses the whole idea of what the book and everything that I'm trying to do is is encompassed in those two words in a really good way. But I was just curious if you would agree, just in general.
So if I were to what in general, I missed one word.
Just if you would agree that what you think about my Get Ignited brand.
What I really love about your brand is the fact that there is an audio, like I said before, the fact that it's multi-sensorial. It gives you many different areas to actually promote and through different avenues, because you're not just promoting necessarily a book. There's a tactile part of it, the visual part of it, the audio, the CD part of it, so you listen to it, you get a complete sensory experience. And I think that, the creativity is really important, but the fact that it's through this multi-sensory experience allows you to promote one product in a variety of different ways, which is excellent, because you never really have to run out of options. When you get bored about promoting the CD aspect, you can talk about the book, and then you can talk about the pictures, and it makes it so much more interesting to promote a product that isn't just one-dimensional, which just has one aspect to it. So I think social media will be excellent, and I'll definitely include some tips, as and when we go through more of the yak.
And what we were talking about together was this idea of not just me and not just authors, but anyone who has a unique product or anyone who wants to be creative with what they have to say and the message that they want to get out. And of course that's what we're here to talk about also, is not only social media, but being creative with it and doing as many different things as you can and doing it effectively.
Yes, that's exactly right. And, really everybody at this point, as much as everybody says we don't have time to do this isn't a choice at this point. Unless you've got unlimited budget to learn, how to do this, it really is important that, everybody understands how to creatively market yourself. But you can only be creative if you understand your unique value proposition, because if you can't see what differentiates yourself from someone else who does that, you're going to have a lot more difficulty trying to become creative, and everybody needs to be creative. And especially when you're marketing a creative product, you have to do it creatively. You've got to market every product creatively, because otherwise you're just going to be marketing the product like Joe Blow, and then why is your product going to be any different? So you have to be creative to make everything stand out in your business.
I see that we have another guest over here. Thank you so much for attending. And I assume that would you like to speak for a minute? Okay, great.
Hi, I'm sorry, I had some technical difficulties. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so I have a question for Ilana. Actually, I am curious, you mentioned at the beginning on how you're really good at helping people articulate who their target market is. For me, I've always talked about my target market in a general sense, in that my target market is experiencing one particular angst, and that angst is, I don't know what I want, but I know it's not this. How can I better articulate that in terms of who those people are, what kind of demographic they fall into, et cetera?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear anything Jenny was saying. I couldn't hear anything. Can you hear me? I seem to have lost you. I'm going to refresh my page.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We're just having little technical difficulties. But yeah, just hang on. And we'll be back to you in a second. I'm actually curious. Maybe Ilana. Let me see. Ilana, maybe you're back. Let's see. No. So maybe can you say a little bit more about your thing? I'm curious what it is. Yeah.
Hi, sure. No, thank you very much. So basically what I do is I'm the Audacity coach. And I work with people who feel like what they have been doing up till now is just not doing it for them. And life kind of sucks, and they'd like it to suck a heck of a lot less. And I help them kind of figure out how do I get from this point of, I don't know what I want to do, but it's not this. How do I figure out how to get to the next place? Hi, Ilana. I think you can hear me. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, so I'll re-ask my question. So my question was, you had said at the beginning that you're really good at helping people articulate really well who their target market is. And when I articulate who my market is, I usually talk about how they are people who share one basic angst, which is, I don't know what I want to do, but I know it ain't this. And I'm ready to figure out what that is. Is that a good enough way to articulate who my target market is? And if not, how do I really break out who that is demographically?
Okay, I'm sorry for some reason we got lost before when Jenny came on. I couldn't hear. Well, hi, Jenny. You need to be very specific, and I think unless you're very specific with specific industries or types of people, the message gets lost if it isn't a clear demographic. So what I would start from is to use the demographic of the clients you already have, because you know those people, other people. Natural industries would be small business, would be entrepreneurs, would be people who are between jobs, people who have lost their job and maybe want to create something a bit more entrepreneurial and not be tied down to a job. But the more specific your target industries are, the better response you will get. And you might have to market a different message to each of those audiences slightly alter your message, but I would definitely start in the entrepreneur, people who've lost their jobs, the unemployed, and small business owners, because most entrepreneurs and small business owners are living a pretty lonely life working on their own. First of all, it's always great to be able to have someone to bounce ideas off, and to have someone like you coach them through those transitions so that they can get from that level that they're at now to the level that they'd like to go to. So I would sort of drill down using Google keywords as well. What's great about Google keywords is that once you put in some basic stats, it figures out all these keywords that it can relate to you that you wouldn't have even thought of. And you might put in some words that will make other suggestions as well. So I would put in all the buzzwords for you and then come up with, including the words, small business entrepreneur into Google, because that seems to me by default as a natural market for you. Or people who are coming out of college, people who might be wanting to go from school, bypass college and do something new, but they don't know how to get going. So anyone who's in a transitional period, I think would be, that would be a good demographic target market for you.
Did that answer? Is there anything else you wanted to? I just wanted to hear again. What did you call yourself? The Audacity something. I love the Audacity word.
Hi. Yes, I call myself the Audacity coach.
Okay. Thank you so much for visiting. Really appreciate it. It's fun, right? Okay, Ilana, I know you have a lot of stuff you want to cover, so I'm going to give you the floor.
Okay, thanks, Christine. We have about a half hour left, so what I really want to do is in in shorthand, I'd like to sort of go over all the basic 6 social media sites that I'm going to cover. I'm going to spend the most amount of time on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is without a doubt the most important for anyone in business. First of all, I just want to talk about the ways that you can promote your business and generate attention. You can buy lists, which amounts to cold call and spamming. You can pay for marketing or advertising. If you have a budget, that's an option. If you don't have a budget, that option's off the table. You can use online social media. You can network live at networking events, seminars, expos, and workshops. And one of the most important things for promoting your business that people don't really think about is the second side of the business card. So the second side of your business card should already be alerting everybody to the social media, where they can find you on social media, so that at the same time that they're getting the information about who you are and what you do, they can flip over on the back and go and check you out on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at a minimal. So I just wanted to mention those briefly because the reason we need to learn social media is because if you don't have a budget, the only way to get noticed or to get traction is to attend events or to network on social media. So, for example, you've gone to a networking event, you've collected a double card, and the next day you have to put aside, within 2 days of going to an event, a seminar, an expo, you should be putting away at least an hour of time to connect with those people on LinkedIn. Don't send them an email, from your regular email account. You can already connect to them on LinkedIn. The good thing about connecting with someone on LinkedIn is that if they change job or career or school or country, everybody is going to keep their LinkedIn profile current because it's your online resume. You would want to keep it current. Your work might change, something else might change. So my suggestion is as soon as you get, the day after, as soon as you can do it after a networking event, follow up with every one of those people. Their email address is actually on their card, so because of the way LinkedIn is set up, as long as you have anyone's email address, you can send them an email or a connection request. What I would do is send them a connection request. You have 3,000 connections that you can have, 3,000 invitations that you can send out to people. Utilize those. So after the event, you want to go to LinkedIn, you want to connect with them directly so that there's a way that you will always stay in touch with them. Now, LinkedIn is really important. Other than the online resume, you can research the person you just met. You can look at the groups that person is in. You can look and see if they've answered any questions and answers. You can really research whether you think that person will be a good connection for you or not. If you like the person, my suggestion is to stay connected with them on LinkedIn. If there's absolutely no way peripherally that they can help you, maybe don't waste one of those invitations. You could email them, but you don't have to invite them to connect. You can just respond and follow up. If you don't follow up and you've got all those dead leads, it's like you never even went to the event, and it's a waste of time to not follow up with those warm leads. Those warm leads are always going to be better than any cold leads that you can get. Social media is great, but it's still a cold lead medium. You don't, unless you know the people, they're strangers. They might like your stream or they might like something you're interested in. And while we're talking about LinkedIn, the profile needs to be filled out 100%. The skills section of what you bring to the table should be filled out. There are many keywords that I think you can put in up to 50 keywords that explain the keywords of your brand and your industry. The other things I would not forget on LinkedIn, first of all, you must have a photo. All your information should be current. And occasionally, ideally, once a day, you should be posting some information as an update on your profile so people can get used to seeing you talking a little bit about your business. Do not sell on LinkedIn. 1 in 10 you can maybe sell. The other 9 out of 10 should be informative articles about your industry, interesting quotes, things that you find funny, things related to, a peripheral industry that might relate to your members. But you want to send, and you want to promote information, again, that's going to be branded to you. So the information, I always post stuff about social media, business development, how to market yourself free or inexpensively, articles that I think might be interesting. Every now and again on a Sunday I'll throw in a funny, or I'll throw in something that's interesting, or a stupid YouTube video that I think is funny, just to make my stream a little more interesting. The other thing I want to mention about LinkedIn, if you have an iPhone, there's an amazing new app. It was just released, I think, 2 weeks ago. It's called Card Munch. And it's an app available at the iPhone store, and it allows you at the event to take a picture of the business card and then upload that person straight into your account, so their information is already in your profile. Even quicker than having to go, to go back to the office the next day and have to contact them.
So Coach Jenny wanted to know, again, what that's called, just to say it, or maybe you can, I think you have access, Ilana, to type it down below. But anyway, we'll just say what the name of that app is again.
It's called, I have to say it slowly because of my accent, Card Munch. As the Americans would say, Card Munch. And maybe you can understand it that way, CARDMUNCH. So the card, it captures the image, it adds it to the contact list, and it brings their LinkedIn profile into your profile so that you can be aware of it. So LinkedIn, without a doubt, for anyone who is in business, it is simply the most important social media site that you should be on. If you do nothing else, you should have two things. You should have a blog that you can attach to your website. If you don't have a blog, you can open a free WordPress blog, a free Typepad blog. Typepad is a little difficult. I'm actually moving off it right now, but WordPress does amazing free blogs. And a blog never hurts because then you have another place to market yourself. Again, the blog should be branded to you. And so what you should do every week is post a couple of articles on your blog, share those articles that are on your blog with your contacts on LinkedIn. So in one fell swoop, you've had one article do double duty. And then a lot of people say, well, where am I going to get these articles from? There must be some articles that that are written by you about your company, or that you can curate from other companies that relate to your industry. There is a glut of information that provides fabulous articles, white papers that you can collect everywhere off the internet. Every couple of days you should be posting something on your blog and your website so that there's always new information. If your website isn't generating updates all the time, the Google spiders, which kind of crawl around every 6 weeks, they're not going to find you if you have little content on your website and if it's not constantly updating with new and updated information. Because if you have new and updated information, it means to Google spiders that your business is alive and moving. So the blog is really important. Also, if you're not sure where to find articles, another of my favorite tools is Google Reader. It's free, just Google Reader. It allows you, instead of having to go to 10 different magazines or online sites where you want to download information, it allows you to download it all in one place through a subscription. All you do is add the URL to the reader, and then when you open your reader, all the articles from all the different magazines you subscribe to will be in one place. So I look at the headlines of about 300 events every day. Out of those, I take the 3 best articles. I post 3 a day on my blog. I post 3 different articles, 3 to 5 different articles or something on LinkedIn, possibly 1 or 2 on Facebook, but every day I'm updating something. And the Google Reader can be, you don't have to subscribe to as many as I do, I cast a wide net, but you could subscribe to the top 3 or 5 subscriptions and get an enormous amount of ideas and content that you can then remarket. Even if you find a great article that you didn't write, you can write an opening paragraph with an opinion and post that as something on your blog.
So how, first of all, I couldn't quite understand what the name of that thing is, and Google something. And then the other question is, how does one get, did you say Google Reader? Oh, Coach Denny is helping me. Google Reader. Okay, thank you. How does one get one's articles, if you're taking your posts from there, how does one get one's articles on there? You know, so that you would be choosing something that I wrote, for example. I mean, that's a total mystery to me.
That's not going to come directly. You can't upload. You could if you have a blog, you can take, and you have the little RSS feed on your blog. Other people are able to subscribe to your blog and include your blog on their feed. The other alternative is try to get your articles and publications that are specific to your industry. Because if your, say there's, Health and Wellness News is a magazine, you might want to submit a free article to the magazine. If they write it, it's going to come up on their website, so you're going to get traction on your own site from it. But what I would really do is market that content from the other website where your article has appeared, and then you can use that content and repurpose it and remarket it slightly differently in all of the social media platforms that you're using. And I wouldn't necessarily, if someone is connected to you on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook, it gets pretty old if the same article is being posted on all of those sites. So you might want to mix and match and think about who your audience is on each of those sites and target appropriately. For example, all my most business-related articles go on LinkedIn. I'll probably put interesting articles for a broader range of industries on Twitter. And then Facebook, I will promote things that I think are wow. Because Facebook is kind of a wow medium. If you've got something that's really interesting and isn't very niche, I think Facebook is a great platform. But if you have a very niche market, it's very hard to get traction quickly on Facebook. Whereas on LinkedIn and Twitter, you can get traction very quickly by being aware of the content that you provide. And I want to just touch a little bit on Twitter. And the most important thing I want to say is don't sell. Selling is the first way to get no followers and to get spammed by everybody else. Twitter is a listening medium, a connecting medium, a medium to share information, promote others, and maybe 1 in 10 posts can be an overt sell, but try not to be too in their face about it. But the first time you get on Twitter, you should spend at least an hour a day looking at what other people are tweeting. And the way to see how people are tweeting, what they're tweeting about in your field, is to look up hashtags. And hashtags is normally a subject matter. Say I'm running a networking event. I will hashtag the word business networking event, so that every time someone searches on the word hashtag event, my tweet will come up in that stream. So you, Christine, might use the hashtag creative. It's not the best hashtag because it's probably used to death, but you could use that hashtag. Valley, you could try doing website, technology, design. Again, they're generic, but once you have your keywords, you can hashtag those. And the same with Jenny. Jenny can hashtag coaching, personal growth, transitioning. Once you have more keywords, you can be specific about those. And Twitter should really start following people who are bigger than you in your industry. And the way you search on those is look at the regular homepage feed and see what people have something interesting to say. If you like them, follow them. You can always unfollow them later. Because initially you're going to have to follow a fair few people, roughly several hundred, before people might start paying attention to you. Unless, again, you're very creative and you get everybody's attention. But Twitter is not about sell, and I remember once I did something wrong on Twitter, and thankfully John Ranck, who owns Duct Tape Marketing, he was nice enough to tell me on Twitter that I was being a bit of a piggy because I was posting someone's article on my blog instead of posting the first paragraph on my blog with a comment and then linking back to the person who wrote the article's blog so that they could get credit for writing the article instead of me just having it. So I was mortified, but I'd been on Twitter about 5 minutes. I didn't really know how to use it, and I've made a lot of mistakes. I lose people, I get people now. I'm in a steady growth. I have more people than I follow. But the beginning was disastrous, and I've learned how to listen and speak on Twitter. So those are the two that I think are the most important. And I briefly want to touch on Pinterest because it's my new baby and it's my favorite first of all, I would be remiss if I don't mention YouTube. Christine, what you should do after this yak is over, you should be promoting this on YouTube because it's the biggest search engine globally. Bigger than Yahoo, bigger than Google, and anything that you can market on video is going to be exposed 80 times more than anything that you would be promoting in social media because YouTube is just, the visual medium is just the best medium you can find. So any videos you should include. And then Pinterest, it's the newest baby on the block, and it's a wonderful website, and it is predominantly female-based. Google Plus is predominantly male-dominated. Google Plus has very small traction in the market, probably 3%. And in fact, I have some stats that came out today. Facebook holds people for 405 minutes a month. Pinterest, which is the new baby on the block, 89 minutes. Twitter, 21 minutes. LinkedIn, 17 minutes. Google Plus, 3 minutes. So even though people are spending most of their time on Facebook, they're doing a lot more business on other sites as well. And Pinterest, in the creative market, is spectacular because it's a visual pinboard. And it is the most incredible, it's Pinterest. And it is the most incredible collection of curated and original visual work. So anything in a visual medium has incredible exposure on Pinterest because it is a visual medium. It's predominantly aimed at women late 20s through early 50s. It has incredible traction. It is the fastest growing website ever. That's not to say it's going to be bigger than any of the others. With all of these tools in your arsenal, you should be working on at least 2 of these each week. You could do your whole social media marketing in 15 minutes a day plus 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours per week. Once you get into the swing of things, now I'm not talking about the learning curve that you'll have for a week on Twitter and learning how to use LinkedIn, but once you understand how those work, you can actually do an incredible amount of marketing in 2 to 3 hours a week on your website. And that will save you, first of all, thousands of dollars, but it will also put you out there as knowing what your content is, being comfortable about talking about your content, whether it be by video or in an article or in a tweet or making a comment on someone's Q&A on LinkedIn. The point is to create as many relationships as possible, and I can't stress that enough. None of these platforms are overt selling, and if you do, you'll just piss people off, and then that kind of defeats the purpose of why you're there. The bottom line of all of these social media sites is having conversations, connecting with people, creating relationships. If you have a new connection in a networking event, the next day, do a quick search on an interesting article for them and send it to them in their LinkedIn profile. They'll be thrilled that you thought about them. They'll be happy to have this new piece of information, and that will make you look better for them. So if you're always striving for relationship growth, sales will come. But if you're going for the hard sell, you may get that one job, but you won't get more than that. You won't get the ongoing relationship, which is what we all go for.
I've never even heard of Pinterest. So I can't. You're talking, but I can't believe that I've never heard of it. So thank you just for that one thing alone. Okay, Jordan wants to know if you think Pinterest is predominant. Why do you think Pinterest is predominantly women?
Because that's what the statistics say. Basically, Pinterest has overwhelmingly, the site's been around, I want to say, a few months. I really got interested in it about a month ago, and I've already got 20 or 15 pin boards on Pinterest. It started being very popular in the Midwest, with people who like to do wedding stuff and scrapbooking and collecting of images and different things. And for some reason it has taken hold, like Google has taken hold in the male predominance. Pinterest, when you look at it, you'll understand why it's predominantly female. People are talking about fashion, about beauty, about products, about clothing. People are talking a little bit about business. But predominantly it's a very visual medium, and it lends itself. There are some men on Pinterest. That's not to say that men haven't discovered it, because Mashable is up there. All the big tech companies are up there, but it was inhabited predominantly by women for the first few months of its life, and there are already 4 iterations of other websites that have taken what Pinterest has done and created other websites like that already. But it's so wormed its way into my heart, I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. However, that is probably less important for you than using LinkedIn, but you can find beautiful things on Pinterest that you can share on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. So each one of those in a coherent social marketing program has its place. You just have to see which of those combinations work best to give you the best results for your business.
I feel like it's a little bit different when you're, to a certain extent, it's a little bit different when you're promoting a book as opposed to a business. Although certainly a book can be a business. It's the idea of relationship building is probably a little bit different than, for example, having an entire business that's built on selling products or providing services. That's not really what I'm promoting for the most part. Although, even though I do have some products that one can purchase to kind of enhance your experience with the book and go further with it, and that's for the most part. So I'm just curious how that, in terms of developing relationships, you were talking more about, not that relationships are always important, but they don't have quite the same impact when you're in my position, I think. So I'm not sure if maybe you wouldn't agree, but I'm curious.
I don't agree with that at all. You are a business. You might not look at yourself as a business, but unless you behave like a business, look like a business, and act like a business, you're just a hobby. And authors, I'm sure, would disagree and say, well, I am a business. I worked forever to get this book published. There's a lot of thought that has gone into that. But to market yourself properly, you have to look at it as a business. And the relationships that you're creating, the person you might meet on LinkedIn might not be able to do anything for you, but a contact that they have might be a dean of a college that has a creativity program. And if you think not so narrowly focused if you actually open up your focus and think, okay, well, this could probably be presented in school. This could probably be presented as a program at a community college. This could be promoted as a seminar at your public library or anywhere else that you might talk about your business. So unless you're thinking of your business and acting on your business like it's a business, it is a hobby. And so everything you create in your relationships, that's why I said right at the beginning, you have to try to really understand your target market outside the box, not just the natural things that come to mind, but sit down and sort of think about, okay, well, what are other applications for my book, for my, some people may not be interested in your book, they might just be interested in your CD. So each of those elements can be promoted individually as well, and some people might just like the visual of it, and the visuals in your book or your book cover would be perfect on Pinterest. Just the outside book cover and possibly a picture on the inside. So it's more a matter of not looking at the narrow industries you're looking at now, but looking at collateral industries. And a company, New York Life, they're one of my clients. They have 400 associates that they work with. They might be interested in something that can help their associates be more creative. So there are a lot of places that you could actively market this and promote this if you want to think of it as a business, because it is a business. It's a book and you're an author and that's great, but if you want to generate sales, money, recognition, you have to market it like it's a business. Even if it doesn't look like a regular out-of-the-box generic business. It isn't. It's your business and it needs to be creative, and you need to look outside your industry to think of natural tie-ins for your book, CD, or the pictures.
Thank you. That's very helpful. That's a new way of me thinking about things. And I see one of our participants wanted to ask about Hootsuite. I use Hootsuite. I don't know if you do, if you would like to talk about it, Ilana, but from my perspective, it's been amazing in terms of it's such a social media shortcut. So maybe you can explain it. You can certainly do it better than me.
Now, Hootsuite and TweetDeck are, first of all, I have to say I don't use them. I have used them. Unfortunately, because I'm a bit ADHD, I find all of that moving information a little bit of overkill in my head. So I think they're great, and I think when I did use it, I loved the concept of it, but there was so much movement happening all the time that I couldn't really focus on it. But what it does, it allows you to schedule tweets and updates. So say, for example, in the morning, you don't want to stop all day, you don't want to stop every hour and think about, I should tweet, or every couple of hours. So you can set up Hootsuite or TweetDeck, you upload all your tweets, you have like 10 tweets that you want to promote that day, you load them up, you schedule them, and they automatically get pinged out from there. The other service, the one that I love, is PFM, PING.FM, and it does a similar thing, but it doesn't have that, it's almost like a broadcast mechanism, so it just pings to the different sites that I want, whereas Hootsuite and TweetDeck, there was just so much movement all the time from the different accounts that it was like, it was a bit overwhelming. But for people who aren't ADHD and they can deal with that, it's a wonderful tool to save you time and effort, and it really is a time saver if, for example, you're booked back to back and you don't have time to take out of your day to actually schedule those updates, it can do it all for you. So yes, I'm glad they brought it up, and it is a wonderful program.
For anyone who doesn't know about it, Hootsuite is the emblem is a little owl, and it's Hoot, HOOTSUITE, and it was a revolution for me. And you can click on to, you can have all of your social media up at the top and click on each one, Twitter, Facebook, and see what's going on without having to go to each site. And you can, like you said, schedule all of your tweets and Facebook comments all at once. Oh my, it's really wonderful in that respect. So, I just have to see how we're doing for time. Oh, I think we're going to have to wrap it up. So Ilana, you want to just finish? I'm sure you didn't even get close to covering as much as you would have liked. But if there's anything really important that you want to say right now, this is the time.
Two quick things. The point of all the social media marketing and anything else that you do is to drive people to your website and to have them sign up for your website, for your newsletter, for your mailing list. So everything that you do on social media, you either want to be, if you're marketing yourself, you want to be encouraging everybody to come to your site. So the end result of all that marketing is that you're trying to get everybody to come back to your site and pay attention to who you are. You need to have a really prominent contact join us box, and that really is the, without, again, it being a sell, you want to, as often as possible, direct people to go back to your site, because obviously you want to catch their information. And the reason you want to catch their information is to grow your list and to market them on as much on your schedule as on their schedule. And the other thing I want to mention is that it takes 8 to 10 touches for someone to see you, in 8 or 10 different places, whether that be live or online or on social media, for you to register who you are and what you do to register with someone. So every time you do a little touch, then you get them back to your website. Now you've got them interested in hearing more about what you do. So relationship, driving everybody back to the website, give as much as you can, take a little bit and share. And those would be the things that I would like to end with, and wanted to just say thank you, and I hope some of the information I provided was helpful, and I really enjoyed the yak, and thanks, Chris.
Well, thank you, Ilana. It was great to have you, and we'll definitely have to do this again and cover all the stuff that we didn't even get close to getting to. There's so much to cover. So thank you so much for coming on, and to all of you out there who are watching. It's been terrific, and I hope to do this every week and to have a new guest and a new topic every week. And there'll be all things that I hope will get you ignited. We want to get ignited together. And so next week I have a friend and colleague whose name is, I can't even think what her name is, but she's wonderful, Whitney Foray, and she has a creativity program that is awesome. She is a self-taught painter and artist, and she got me painting. If she can get me to paint, she can get anybody to paint, and she has this whole incredible creativity program that anybody can get involved with. And her goal is to go around the world getting people to paint, because if you can paint and then you can have a meeting, you can do anything. So, right? So, anyway, I hope that you will join me. And if anyone who's watching, we would love to have feedback about how this was for you, how it sounded, how it looked, and if this is a good time to do a Get Ignited talk show. Or if there is a better time during the day or during the week to do it. Any feedback you have would be most welcome. And thank you for your patience and for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure. So good night and get ignited.